What's up, everyone? So I'm out here at Big Creek about to go camping, and it is cold outside. It's 25 degrees with the wind chill 16 degrees, but I'm out here. I got my sled and I'm gonna drag it out there to my spot and set up camp. Alright, I got everything packed up and tied down on my sled, and I got the pole strapped onto my belt. Let's get going. So far so good. There's enough snow out here, so I'm not really dragging too much weight. It's sliding pretty nicely on the snow. Supposed to get down to 16 degrees tonight, and that's not the wind chill. So I'm pretty sure the wind chill will be single digits. Just stopping here for a second to catch my breath. My spot is just right up there. But yeah, I'm surprised that there's even enough snow out here. 'Cause where I live, it'll snow like 2 or 3 inches. Then the next day, even though it's still below freezing, you know, below 32 degrees, if it's sunny, it will still melt the snow. And then there's not enough, you know, to pull a sled. Otherwise, you're just dragging it on the ground. But yeah, there's plenty of snow out here. Looks like a lot of people have been hiking out here. A lot of footprints. And then of course you got deer tracks, rabbits, and probably coyotes too. I wonder if I'm going to hear the coyotes tonight. I guess we'll find out. Well, here I am. An old camp spot. And those 2 trees right there is where I put my hammock whenever I go hammock camping. So the sled survived, stayed together, didn't tip over. So I'm going to go ahead and start unpacking the sled and get the tent set up. I think it's going to be dark in about an hour and a half. There's all my stuff there. Got my sleeping bag, my tent, my cot, my little buddy heater, the propane tank, and the tripod, and some water down there. Then I got my backpack, which has my food, some more water, some extra blankets, and stove, fire starter, stuff like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this tent set up. I brought my Ayamaya tunnel tent. I camped with this only one time, and that was the video I made on it out at Long Branch Lake. So hopefully it'll be a nice tent for winter camping too. Alright, so I got the outer shell laid out. Now I need to put the poles in. Alright, so I got the 3 poles in, and I got them all laid towards the front of the tent. I'm going to go ahead and put the back where I want it and stake it out. Just the back for now. So I got the back two corners staked out, and I also staked out the very back, the vent on the back. Now all we gotta do is pick it up, pull it forward, then I can stake out the front corners. Alright, so I got the front poles and the front door staked out. Now I can stake out the middle. Now you got these clips, pull out and snap them on to the poles. Now I need to stake out the corners of the back vent. Now I can stake out the guy lines. Got 3 on each side. Alright, got the outer shell set up. So I got the side door rolled up here. It also has a front flap door that unzips on both sides, and you can roll it up and attach it up here. Now here's the inside. That's where the tent will go. You got a back vent. And there's the front flap door, and the vestibule will be from there over. The tent will be from there back. So this is the ground sheet for the vestibule, which I don't know if I'm going to use yet or not. But since I'm wearing sweatpants, I'm going to have to lay it down while I put in the tent. And that way my knees don't get soaked. Alright, the first thing I need to do to set up this tent is lay down and clip in the back two corners. Now the next thing to do is to clip the back part of the tent on those hooks up there. Alright, now I can clip the front two corners of the tent to the outer shell. And now I'll hook the front part of the tent on these hooks up here. And that's it. Open the door here. Alright, there's the inside. You got a vent back there. Got a pocket right there and a pocket right there. And not sure what that is. I think that's off from one of my camping gear. Just a strap. But I'm going to go ahead and get my cot set up. I'm going to set it up right here. It should be able to fit just fine. So I'm going to have to try to do this without stepping in there so I don't get a bunch of snow in there and have a wet floor. see if I remember how to do this. Obviously that's the bottom. So okay, like that. Okay. Now I just gotta stand it up. Alright, it barely fits in there, but it fits. I'm gonna have to take my boots off and get inside there. At least I'll be able to sit on the cot with my feet outside and get my boots off. Alright, the cot is set up. I need to get everything in here so I can get everything set up. Got my sleeping bag, the backpack, the little buddy heater, and the camping chair. And here's my sled. It's a normal kid sled. I'll put it up here by the front flap door because I'm not going to be using that door. Well, the setup took a little longer than expected, but I had to move slow and try to keep the snow out of the tent and not get everything all wet. But it's 5 o'clock now. Sunset's supposed to be about 5:20. And you can see back there it's getting ready to set behind the trees. So I'm going to go inside and start unpacking my bag, get my bed set up, and get the little buddy heater going. I just realized that every time I film something facing away from me, I only got the front mic on, this media mod, and I never thought to switch it to the back mic. So anytime I got the camera flipped around like this, if I don't sound very good, that's why, because only the front mic is on. And I wish I could turn both the front and the back on at the same time. I just looked and there's no way to do that, so sorry if the audio is bad if I'm pointing the camera away from me. Got the little buddy heater going. Got a big mesh door on here. Got 2 vents up front. And also got a big vent on the back, so it's well ventilated. So this thing has 3 different safety features on it. If it gets too hot, it will automatically shut off. If it senses that there's not enough oxygen in here, it'll shut off. And if it tips over, it will shut off. Now, of course, I'm not going to let it run all night while I'm sleeping, but I'll get it warmed up in here before I go to bed. It's only been on about 5 minutes and it's already warming up in here. I was able to take off my full face hat and just put on a regular beanie hat. I don't know if you can hear that, but a bunch of geese are flying over. Well, it warmed up quite a bit in here. I still got the heater on. I take my hat off, took my gloves off. So I need to start unpacking before it gets too dark. Got my 10-degree sleeping bag. I'm going to pull that out, get it laid out. Alright, got that laid out. Got my camp pillow here. Just gotta fluff it out. I can put it inside the head of the sleeping bag. And I usually take all these bags, like the sleeping bag, my camp pillow bag. I just put it inside the tent bag and zip it up. That way it all stays in one spot. Tea bags and sugar, chicken fried rice, and my breakfast skillet for in the morning. Camp light, which I have another one over here too. And I can turn it on, nice and bright. Pretty cool, it's an LED lantern light. Got my bowls and my stove, fire starting stuff. I was planning on having some kind of fire like out in the vestibule, like a small one, because I have this like camp stove set up where I could put a bunch of sticks in it, but I don't think I'm going to have a fire. Got a blanket here. I finally got a light for my camera now, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this on. There we go, that is much better. For the longest time I did not have a light for my camera, and now I got one. So back to what I was doing, another blanket. This I'm going to lay on the inside of the sleeping bag. And I'll set it up to where when I close the sleeping bag, the blanket will wrap around me. So basically I'll just fold it in half like this, shove it inside the sleeping bag, and then open it up. I also got this thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I found it at a thrift store, but it's almost like a sleeping bag liner, because you got the opening in the middle here, and then it's about, I'd say about 4 feet long. So what I'll do is, before I get in the sleeping bag, I'll put this on like around my shoulders, and it'll drop down to about my knees. And then I'll lay down in the sleeping bag, and then I'll have this blanket here to throw over me, and then the sleeping bag to throw over me, and then zip it up. So I should be nice and warm tonight once I shut that heater off. And I brought my hatchet in case I did have that fire, but I'm not gonna have the fire. First aid kit. And that's it. So everything I'm not going to use tonight, shove it in my bag and put it under the cot. I don't think I'm going to be using this jacket tonight, because I got my down jacket on. And now my knees are cold because I was sitting on the floor when I was unpacking everything. Tell you what, this little buddy heater is working out pretty good. Nice and toasty in here. First time I ever used it was in my Ozark Trail 7-person TP tent. And that's like 7 feet wide, 7 feet tall. So the little buddy heater just wasn't enough, you know, to warm up the space, because all the heat would go up to the top, and there was a vent at the top, so it just goes straight out of the tent. But every time I stood up, my head was warm, but everything, you know, from my head down was cold. So especially, you know, laying down on the cot, you know, all the heat was at the top and I was cold. So this little tent, pretty nice. It you know, it's filling up the space and still a little chilly towards like the back side of the tent. But up here at the head of the tent, you know, it's like warm. Well, it's 10 after 6 and I'm starting to get hungry. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my chicken fried rice. I'm back down on the floor again while I get this all set up. Put my stove on here. Make sure I get it nice and flat. And water. Get this thing turned on and light it. Go ahead and get this thing opened up. And take out the little packet here, don't need that. The water's boiling now. Go ahead and get this shut off. And the water poured in here. And I'm gonna have to add some more water in here for my tea. So for now, get this closed up. Set it aside and let it cook. I almost thought I forgot my spoon, but luckily I did have it. It's a spoon and fork and knife. It just goes together like that and snap. But I did forget my spoon one time, and that was fun. Basically what I did is I took this and just kind of made like a scoop out of it, and that's how I ate my food. I just scooped it like that and ate it. But not this time, I got my spoon. And that was all of my water in here. Got just a little bit left in there. But I got another 24 ounces of water here. So that'll be enough for my morning breakfast. And more tea if I want more tea. This thing might be done now. I'll stir it up. It's hot though. Go ahead and get that turned off. And I will close this up a little bit longer. And then get my tea bags. I'll go ahead and put in 3. If that's not enough, then I'll put in 4. Go ahead and take this down off from the stove. Just set it down on that piece of paper there. And let the stove cool down. My food should be done now. Well, while I wait for my tea, I'm gonna go ahead and start eating because I am hungry. May have to let this cool down too. This has to be the warmest camp that I've had during winter time. Because the only other tent that I've used that in was that teepee tent. And I told you how that worked out. But if I went, you know, backpack camping with my smaller tents, I had no room in my bag to put it. Because I had all my other winter stuff in there. So this is the second time I've actually got to use it. And this tent is perfect for it. And it seems to be pretty well ventilated in here. because even though I do smell just a little bit of propane, it's not bad at all, not enough to, you know, bother me, and I haven't gotten any headaches yet, so I think I'm okay. I think I'm going to check on my tea. Yeah, there's still a lot of steam coming off that tea. I'm going to have to let it cool down for a while. Just a heads up, this will be the last camp for the season. I'd like to get just one really good winter snow on the ground camping video done. And then after that, you know, I'm done camping until it warms up. I think it's cooled down enough. At least I can hold it now. Put some sugar in. Now let's give it a try. I'm not used to hot tea because I like iced tea. And I go through about a pitcher a day of iced tea. But hot tea, not a big fan of, but it helps me stay warm. Well, I just put my third GoPro battery in. I don't normally film this much, but I've just been letting it roll and getting whatever I can. So if this battery dies, I'm going to have to plug it in, charge it up, because I only got 3 batteries. By the way, on my legs I got a base layer, and then my pajamas, and then my sweatpants. And then on top I got a base layer, then my sweater, and a down jacket, and then my other jacket, which I took off when I first fired up the heater because it warmed up pretty quick. And now, drinking this tea and that heater and that hot food, I'm starting to sweat a little. I might take off my down jacket, which would be nice because when I finally go to bed, I don't want to wear any of my jackets. I just want, you know, my sweatpants and my sweater, you know, with all my underlayers on, and just get all nice and bundled up, and then shut off the heater, and hopefully I'll stay warm. It's currently 7:21 p.m. and it is 18 degrees outside with the wind chill of 12, and this little buddy heater is still keeping up. I moved it over here in front of me, and I'm nice and toasty. I know whenever I go to bed and I shut this heater off, I'm going to have to make sure I bundle up pretty good in my sleeping bag, because once I shut this heater off, it will get cold pretty quick. I kind of want to lay down right now, but I don't want to take my boots off, because after drinking that tea, I know I'm going to have to go to the bathroom soon. So I'm pretty much just waiting on that, and then I'll come back in here, get my boots off, and lay down for a bit. Well, I think my camera light is dying because I got it on level 3 brightness, and it still looks pretty dark. So I've been using it as a light in here even when I'm not filming and I'm running the battery down. So I'm going to go ahead and get that charged up, and I'll see you here in a little bit. Gonna have to use this light for now. Hang it right there on the tripod. But anyway, it's about that time, and I'm gonna have to step out there, use the bathroom, and I'm gonna come back in here and get all bundled up in my sleeping bag and watch some shows on my phone. But I'm gonna find out pretty quick how much colder it is out there than it is in here. So I'll be back soon. Yeah, it is definitely cold out there. So one thing I noticed when I went out there, on the outer shell of the tent, on the inside the vestibule, there's a lot of frost on the inside of the shell. And so far with the heater on in here, obviously there's not going to be frost. But I'm hoping that when I turn the heater off, that it's not going to frost in here and start dripping on me, which it shouldn't, because with the outer shell, I think the outer shell is going to get all that condensation and frost and all that stuff. So hopefully the inside tent will be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my boots off and get bundled up in my sleeping bag and watch some Simpsons. I got it, all seasons of The Simpsons on my phone. I think I'm on season 16 now. Just been binge watching it every night before I go to bed. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave my down jacket on. Just leave it unzipped. But I'll leave it on. And I gotta put this thing on. I'll show you how I use this. Basically, I just get this opened up here in the middle. Right there. I put it on. And just let it drop over me. And then pull it up over my shoulders like this. And then just gotta stand up and let it drop, and it goes just below my knees, and then now I can lay down. I'm all covered from my shoulders down to my knees, and then I can just lay down. Go ahead and kick off my boots. I'm going to take my hat here and just kind of put it down towards the bottom of the sleeping bag so it'll stay nice and warm. Put this back over. Stand up and get this pulled down. And lay down. My feet down in there. And I can take this blanket that I put in here. Now go over me. And then the sleeping bag. Go ahead and try to get it zipped up here. I won't zip it up all the way yet. Just enough to get covered up here. When I go to bed, I'll zip it up all the way. I'm just gonna lay here and watch some Simpsons, and then I'll see you again pretty soon. Well, it's 11 p.m. I'm starting to get tired, so I'm gonna shut off the heater, get bundled up in my sleeping bag, and I will see you again in the morning. It is 6:30 a.m. and it is 30 degrees with the wind chill of 20. And I'm nice and toasty in my sleeping bag. I stayed warm all night, but outside the bag it is cold. I'm gonna get the heater going before I get out of bed, and then make some breakfast. Well, I got the heater going. It's starting to warm up in here. And I'm hungry, so I'm going to get up and get breakfast started. I got the water heating up, and I'm going to have my breakfast skillet with shredded potatoes, scrambled eggs, pork sausage, peppers, and onions. Just been opened up. Okay, water's boiling now. Get it poured in here. Get this thing closed up. Let it cook. I wasn't gonna have tea, but I guess I will pour some more water in. I probably won't heat it to boiling. I'll just wait until it starts to bubble at the bottom, and then I'll shut it off. Alright, that's probably warm enough. Set that aside. Starting to get light outside. I'm gonna eat my breakfast, drink my tea. I slept pretty good last night, and I stayed warm all night. I think it got down to wind chill of 8 degrees. But inside my sleeping bag, I was nice and warm. Just got done eating. I'm just drinking my tea. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna start packing up because I'm ready to go home. Got the sled all packed up, ready to go home. I was gonna wear my other hat, the one I wore on my way out here, but I accidentally rolled it up in my sleeping bag. I did not want to unpack it again. So it's not too cold. It's warmer than it was when I came out here. I think it's like maybe 32, 34 degrees. It's supposed to get up to 40 today. The GoPro keeps getting cold and shutting off. Well, made it back to the car. Hope you enjoyed that video.